And so we really went out of our way to deal with the concerns that was coming from, in particular, the California Chamber of Commerce, who said that this would be very detrimental to employers, and that's why they so ardently opposed it. But, you know, at committee hearings, they said, of course, that this would allow for people to be stoned on the job, it would cause a risk to public safety, and all these canards, which we shot down one by one. And I pointed out to them, Prop 215 has been in place now for over 10 years. This case only came forward recently. Over the past decade, can you please give us a few examples of where people have been stoned on the job and thereby creating problems for their employers? That's what they were saying would be the risk if our bill were signed into law. And of course, they couldn't come up with one example. So it's just a completely false argument. With regard to the risk of public safety, no, we said we're exempting these safety-sensitive positions. So they didn't really have any kind of honest argument whatsoever. And we did get the bill to the governor's desk strictly on a party line vote. Because the California Chamber of Commerce and then some of the law enforcement, the Narcotics Officers Association and such, it scared off many of my Republican colleagues and put some fear into some of my Democratic colleagues as well. But we got the simple majority vote that we needed. And then again, of course, the governor did veto the bill with a veto message that yet again suggested he didn't know what he was talking about. But again, I think that this is too important of an issue, and I will be back with the bill again because we can't just accept our own Schwarzenegger's veto. If you look at it just on its face, that Supreme Court decision, if we let it stand, so clearly communicates that the voters in 1996 who so strongly supported Prop 215 to allow for the compassionate use of cannabis here in California. One could only presume from their decision that the voters intended that the benefits of Prop 215 would only be afforded to those who are unemployed. And that's craziness. We've got nearly 250,000 people here in California who are using cannabis medically, and the idea that we would enforce upon them unemployment when we should, as policy and lawmakers, be encouraging people to get back up on their feet, to be self-sufficient, to not be on the public dole. It is counterintuitive that we would suggest and put into law that no, you can only use medical cannabis if you are unemployed. So we have some more educating to do among legislators, and certainly with this governor. And again, if we have to wait till 2011 after we've elected a Democratic governor in 2010, so be it. But we're not going to walk away from this. I'll just close with something that's on my mind only because I have been busy on the campaign trail. For those of you who aren't familiar with my district, I was in a very competitive Democratic primary for the nomination to the state Senate. I'll be on the November 4th general ballot, but from this Democratic district, it's not all that competitive. So it frees me up to get involved with other issues that I'm very involved with. We're trying to protect women's reproductive choices with the defeat of Proposition 4. Little thing on the ballot called Proposition 5 that we're trying to do. And then we're also trying to protect equal marriage rights here in California. And over the past 4 or 5 years, I've been working at it at the legislative level, introducing the first of its kind, an equal marriage rights bill in 2004. We actually got it to the governor's desk in 2005, again in 2007. There's no other bill of its kind in the country, and to have gotten it to the governor's desk twice showed legislative intent, which was very important, even though, especially the second time, knowing we were walking into a second veto, because we knew that our case was making its way to the Supreme Court, and the justices would be looking for legislative intent, which we were able to repeatedly show them, and that influenced the justices. In fact, Ron George made mention to it repeatedly in his proponent's decision. And so over the years, I've been invited to do right-wing talk radio I always accept. I've been on Bill O'Reilly, I think, now 4 times. But I also do shock jock radio as well. I like the debate, clearly, and almost as good as Ethan is. I see Ethan on television how many times now, and it's always so brilliant. But also I think it's imperative upon me as a legislator to take advantage of the opportunity to get our message out to other parts of the state which may never have it heard. And so there are a couple of guys in Sacramento called Armstrong and Getty. Now they're not as bad as a few folks here know who John and Ken are from the Los Angeles area, I suspect so. You know, these are folks who have used their privilege of the public airways by sending out so much hate and misinformation to an audience that is captive because they're literally stuck in freeway traffic for 2-3 hours a day, and that's exactly when they're on. So Armstrong and Getty aren't quite as bad as the worst, but they're on the right side of the equation, not the left. And they wanted me to come talk about our marriage equality bill. It was right after Gavin Newsom had given directive to our county clerk to begin issuing marriage licenses to same-sex couples back in February of 2004. And so I agreed to come on their show and tell them about our bill and what the issue was all about. And the first thing out of one of their mouths was, that Gavin Newsom, he's just running for President of the United States. I said, you think that's what this is really about? And he said, oh, such blind ambition, it's just so obvious. And I said, well, you know, Mayor Newsom is articulate and intelligent and telegenic. He said, telegenic? He's hot! So then I walked them through the bill. I told them about the religious freedom section. It was the Religious Freedom and Civil Marriage Protection Act. And I told them that no minister, rabbi, priest, or any religious institution which does not recognize nor wish to solemnize these marriages would be required to do so. Walked them through the rest of the bill, asked them, why would we want government in the middle of two people making their most intimate decision of their lifetime? That's exactly where we don't want government. Walked them through the whole thing. At the very end, one of them said, you know, Leno, some people may hate you because you're Jewish. Some people may hate you because you're homosexual. I hate you because you're so damn reasonable. So, again, it's wonderful to welcome you to the Bay Area, and thank you for gracing us with your conference. It's always a pleasure to be in a room full of like-minded people, but I want you to know from the legislative side of the effort, we so appreciate your advocacy, because without it, we would not have a prayer in succeeding to the degree that we are able to, whether we're walking into vetoes or not. But I think we all know that just moving a bill forward, just the fact of the bill, puts an idea into the real world. Without a bill, it's just that. It's an idea, it's a concept. And no one has to take a position in the legislature. No one really has to take a side or be questioned too much, because it's not anything but just that, an idea. So by putting that idea into a bill, suddenly it enters into a new realm of debate and discussion and consideration. And as I said, your advocacy is so critically important to our successes. So please continue to invest your time and your energies, and let's pass Prop 5. Thank you very much.